that confident, you have to be that concise, at the same time include everything possible in the abstract. So the central questions or statement of the problem should be your abstract. What's already known about this question, what previous research has done. So come again, right from the first bullet, what is it? Your background. Next is, what is the statement of your problem? Next, if this is a statement, what other people have done in this work, okay? And the next is, why it is important to address this question. Are you, for example, examining a new topic? Why is the topic worth examining? You have to write all these things in the abstract. Are you filling a gap? Then you mention that yes, this is a problem. People have worked on this problem, but then they have not taken care of this gap, and therefore I am providing a solution for this gap. And using this gap, this people will be benefited, and therefore the efficiency of healthcare system will improve. Okay, that's how it goes. And therefore applying new methods, resolving a dispute within the literature. Okay, and the next is, your research and analytical method should be a part of your abstract. Your main findings, not total, because you later on in methodology you are going to anyways explain your results. So here you are going to give main findings. Okay, in a single line you have to say that what all you have found through your experiment. Okay, next is the significance or implications of your finding or argument. So let me make it concise for you. First of all, suppose I am talking about pollution and cardiovascular diseases. Well, how will be my abstract flow? First of all, I will say how cardiovascular diseases are becoming so prevalent now. So initially, only beginning, I can have a statistic, say around 90% people of various age groups are suffering nowadays with cardiovascular diseases. Okay, then you have to write, okay, that what okay, if this is fine, so what is your problem statement? So you have to write, therefore in this paper we are not IV first language, avoid, always make it as a third language. Therefore in this paper an attempt has been made to address the effect of pollution on cardiovascular diseases. Fine, you mentioned your problem statement. Next comes the question, did anybody not research about it? So you have to write. So there are many researches available in this domain, but they have not taken every aspects of pollution and how different units of pollution, how they are affecting CVD diseases. Okay, so you gave the gap. Okay, then you say they're using AI and machine learning, using AI and using AI, that it has been found that the relation of pollution and cardiovascular diseases has so much percent dependence. Okay, so you gave your findings. What did you find in your research while working in the project? What did you find? You are writing it. After this, in the end, you are going to conclude as to, therefore, this research is going to help the healthcare unit, especially children, teenagers who are suffering heart attacks. There would be a awareness created as how pollution should be curbed so as to avoid unnecessary situations in future. This is how your abstract goes. Okay. Come again. Again, I have given you a probably proper outline as to how will you be going. First is a wide-ranging topic. Next is your problem, so a general problem related to the topic. Okay. Next is a specific problem addressed. Next is your measures taken. Next is your results, and next is broad implication of the results. Okay. Come again. Now take up something else. Suppose there is a very big problem in crop diseases. Okay, agricultural sector. Okay, there are crops dying early because of diseases. Okay, so suppose I have found out a new method as to using a camera of my mobile. I will pick up the disease. It will tell which what kind of disease it is, and it will also say because of this disease what kind of pesticide has to be sprayed or what kind of medicine has to be applied. A farmer may not be knowing this process. they will be able to tackle the diseases early on in their harvesting process. Okay, so what will be my wide ranging topic around India? Most of the states of India, most of the rice growing states of India are facing problems due to the disease affecting the paddy crops. Okay, done. That's a wide ranging topic. General problem related to topic. Diseases affected paddy crops. There are several diseases which are affecting paddy crops. What out of which the most notably are bacterial blasts, sheep rot, etc., which are very difficult to tackle and disturbs the complete batch of harvest if not tackled earlier. That's a general problem. Specific problem. Therefore, in this paper, it is the AI. An app, AI-based app, is proposed to tackle these diseases and help the farmers with pesticide management. Done. Measures taken. Measures taken. I have already included in the measures taken as to what we have done. Next is results. Okay. Therefore, based on the research carried out in this paper, in this using this method, it has been found that a 90% accuracy has been achieved with the unseen data as taken by the farmers. So that will be your results. Next is broad implication of your results. Therefore, this particular method will help all paddy growing states of India in future and therefore improve the economy as well as the supply chain management of the common man. Okay, so that is how it goes. I hope it's clear to you. I'm not opening the link because I'll be sending the slides to you, trying to keeping it short so that you don't lose the interest. Research paper next. So what all is done? Title is done, keywords are done. Next is abstract is done. Next come introduction. Now people gets thoroughly confused. I already wrote an abstract about my paper. Now what is this introduction? Introduction is about your problem, the problem statement that you have taken for research. You are not going to give any solution in introduction. You are just going to elaborate the problem so as to make users understand that yes, the problem ascertained by you is actually a problem, and therefore this is the way, this is actually giving you a scope to even establish the problem as a genuine problem. Okay, so introduction, you need to grab attention. So that means whosoever is a reader, they should be curious about what you are saying. Set the tone. That means the introduction is giving a hint what you are expecting hereafter after introduction. Okay, so they are preparing them for the journey. It guides the reader. Introduction is a roadmap because following the details about your problem, you therefore write. Okay, therefore, in this paper, an attempt has been made to use this method to curb this problem. Okay, so that's why it is a roadmap. Next is shows purpose. Very, very important. Why your research matters. What is the point? Why should anyone read it? So introduction spells out the purpose of your paper. Okay. So basically introduction has 5 steps. Introduce your topic. Describe the background, even if it is from newspapers, from existing articles. Okay. Okay. So whatsoever, but write in your own words. As I said, no copy pasting. So wherever you have come across this problem, maybe from internet, maybe from social media, please elaborate that. Okay, describe the background. Establish your research problem. Write it that people have been doing lots of work, but then this has not been addressed properly, or they are only 50% accurate. Okay, accuracy. So understand the gap. Talk about the gap. Okay, tell that it's a problem. Gap has to be reduced. Okay. Number 4, specify your objectives. Therefore, now all these are paragraphs. Your topic, your background, your problem. Now objective will be saying like as to if this is a problem, how you are planning to do it, not the methods, not the technical methods. You are your description about the problem. Okay, if this is a problem, I need to do a survey. I need to, so lots of survey is required, lots of awareness is required, lots of trials and experiments are required. It depends upon what you are writing. Okay, and then number 5 is mapping out your paper. So after the introduction, you are going to actually say that what you are applying in one line, so that people are forced to go ahead and read the other sections. Okay, and you are going to end up the introduction with a map of your paper. That means in section 1 I have in section 1 this has been included, in section 2 it includes this, in section 3 it describes this, like this. So whatsoever section comes after introduction comes literature survey. So you say that important papers have been researched through the literature survey. Followed by that, results and discussions are discussed with comparisons with earlier methods. Last is your conclusion. Conclusion is given so as to ascertain the gaps and that are analyzed, and the management of the gaps, as well as any future scope available for the paper. And followed by references, which will be having all the papers that has been used for research of this topic. That's how your introduction is. Next comes, so again, title is over, abstract is over, keywords is over, introduction is over. After introduction comes your literature survey. Remember students, till now we have not come to what is our method. Okay, it is yet to come. Literature survey. Again, this is where maximum amount of copy pasting is seen, because you read a paper, you don't read thoroughly, you just pick up the abstract, you put it in ChatGPT, what you paraphrase it and you put it. You don't even, and ChatGPT's English being too much of articulate English, you don't understand, you need to convert it into technical English, and therefore the kind of writing that you have done so far, and in the literature review whatsoever you are presenting, the tone of English completely changes. Suddenly in literature survey the English looks pure, English looks so bombastic. Okay, which is not right. It is understood by a reader that it has been taken from somewhere. Okay, there is no harm in taking it from ChatGPT, but you need to modify it according to the tone or according to the language that you have set in the paper. Okay, so literature survey, why even we are doing it? Because you are giving credit to others, so that's to not diminish the credit you get from your paper. Your paper will also be cited by somebody. So therefore literature review, whatever references you have taken, each references you need to cite within the literature review. Suppose you have 15 references, so one you have to cite and write about it, two you have to cite again and write about it. So that's how is literature survey. Okay, and failing to giving credit to others can kill your paper. And literature survey usually comes when you are discovering something, when you are researching something, but it usually does not come with invention, because invention is something new altogether. Then in that case, literature survey can be either minimized or absolutely taken away, because there is nothing existing. Okay, but at this level, at the second year level that we are approaching very basic problems. In that case, you definitely have to write a very good literature survey. Now, what are the steps of literature survey? Choose a topic to write about. Okay, focus and explore this topic. Okay, what is a topic? You have come up with a title. Now break that title into bits and pieces. Suppose that a title has AI. Okay, so AI is separate. Now the title has improvement word. Okay, so or analysis word. Okay, so leveraging AI for analysis of pesticide management for paddy crops, if you are writing like this. Okay, and that too in this this in states of India, if you are also maintaining a population. So you have to search like this, leveraging AI for paddy crops. Then again, you have to look for crop management, paddy crops. Then you have to look for disease management of paddy. Then you have to look for paddy diseases in different states of India. So like this, you have to look for different research paper. So break your title into different combinations, okay? And based on the combinations, you search. Simply in your search engine, you search what are the existing papers. Now, while are you searching, you should be taking the recent last 3 years papers. Don't take very old papers. If not available, yes, you have to. Otherwise, the last three, so that your research comes on top of what they have been doing. Okay. So already you have chosen a topic of your research. So number 2 is collect all scholarly information on that. So you can search for conference papers, good conference papers, that is IEEE. You can look for Scopus Index papers. You can look for journal papers. If you are little advanced, you can look for existing patents. Okay. Yes. And you can also look for a book. You can look for an ebook. Okay. You can cite an ebook also. You can cite a blog link, provided that blog has enough matter to be cited. Okay. You can't cite any blog, provided the enough matter, enough justification is existing in that blog. Okay. But usually we cite journals and conference papers. Okay. Step number 3, analyze the network of information that extends or responds to major works in your area. Select the material that is most useful. Just now I said, no, what was useful? Paddy crop of India, states of India, then disease management of paddy crops, then pesticide management of paddy crops, and then AI, using AI, how paddy disease was managed, how pesticide was managed. So all these, so you this major works in my area I have to analyze. Next is describe and summarize each article. So suppose I have chosen 15 articles. Now on what basis I will choose? I usually tell my students this way: those 15 references that you are giving, divided into 3 groups of 5. Okay. First 5 should be general, like, what are crop diseases of paddy, or how does it affect, at which area of stage of harvesting does it affect. Okay. Which states are getting affected, what are the government policies towards it, how states are managing it, how farmers address this problem. Are you getting? Absolutely non-technical, so as to have my overall background regarding this. Okay, that is regarding the first 5. The next 5 papers should be addressing as to what people must have done so far. Okay, remember, using technology. So using different technology, say blockchain based supply chain management, say AI based techniques, say deep learning based techniques. Okay, somebody devised a website, somebody did an app, somebody just devised a new algorithm, maybe whatsoever. Okay, so say an optimization algorithm. Okay, so next 5 papers would be what all technologies have been used so far to address this problem. Okay. Done. And as you are taking up this paper, okay, what you're going to write in literature survey, in those papers, if the methodology that they're applying is completely, no, your the methodology that you are applying is completely different from that, you are going to write they have used this and this. That's it. And you keep in your mind that I'm not using it, that's why I'm citing their paper. That means I'm not copying their method, I'm citing their paper because I read the methodology that they have used, and I'm either bettering off their methodology, or I'm trying a completely different method. So these 5 papers are either to be criticized diplomatically as to saying that they have not addressed all diseases of paddy or the main diseases, or else they address a problem, but do not talk about pesticide management. So they address the problem, that they identify the problem, but then they don't provide solution to the problem. Okay, so try to criticize diplomatically, or else imbibe those papers. That means you accept that their methodology was good, you kind of accepted that, and you tried to better off that. The last 5 papers, The last 5 papers are, I take up like this, all kinds of, this kind of surveys, usually surveys, okay, which have existed in this domain, where there are chances of providing ebooks, blogs, articles, etc., white papers, where if you don't find them, not a problem, then you can have 10 technology based papers also, or else 5 technology based papers and 5 survey kind of papers, where people have actually seen this problem, where they're looking for a solution. What a beautiful way of finding an article where they are farmers are writing something, or else in a particular news article is there where they have written that these problems are exist and something has to be done about it, and people have not done anything, so therefore you are providing a solution. So the last 5 or the last 3, you keep it for that. So I call it as advanced search. Okay, fine. Done. And then step 5 is demonstrate how these concepts in the literature relate to what you discovered. That means as you are picking up these, as you are writing small 2-3 lines literature review about this paper, and when you are writing this paper in square brackets, number, the reference number has to be given. So as you are giving the reference number 1, 2, 3, 4, not one of the another, as if writing a story. The reference number can come in the beginning, in the end, in the middle of your sentence, wherever. Okay. As you are writing one by one, read all of them throughout and understand, are all the papers talking about my problem? Am I able to justify that yes, these were the papers to be cited? Okay. And the last is identify the relationships in the literature and develop and connect your own ideas to them. Okay, after everything is done, the last paragraph of literature survey should be saying that for all the above researches are talking about problems where these gaps were not identified, either identified and not provided a solution, or else not identified, and therefore the research in this paper identifies those gaps and provides a solution which will be of bettering of the lives of Indian farmers. Finished. Okay. Always leave something with more curiosity. Okay. Again, title done, abstract done, keywords done, introduction done, literature survey done. Next comes your methods, okay, or methodology. Okay. Now, how to write research methodology, okay? The research methodology section of any academic research paper gives you the opportunity to convince your readers that your research is useful and will contribute to your field of study. So, I'm not reading the part of it, neither I am opening all these links. Please, students, once I send it to you, please open the links and see. So this research methodology of a paper, or a methodology of a paper, is the main section on your project or your experiment or your trial or your survey is based. That means you must have done an AI algorithm. You must have had a machine learning program. You must have had an NLTK based NLP process. Okay. Okay. You must have used blockchain over here. You must have used cloud computing here, or it's simply an app where it is giving a kind of a one place management of certain problem. Say students are attendance monitoring. Okay, I'm just colloquially saying that that's not a very big problem. There are so many solutions available, but I'm saying for the context. So this is methodology. Here comes complete technical matters. Okay, and in this methodology section, usually students are forced to write on their own. The reason is being an new research, okay, which does not exist anywhere. Therefore, you are supposed to you will not get it on ChatGPT. You will not get it elsewhere. Okay, so you are forced to write it on its own, and there again the tone of the paper suffers, because all this while you must have made use of ChatGPT or any other large language models, Perplexity or whatsoever. But then here, because you're writing on your own, the English, this importance of technical English absolutely gets vanished. It becomes I, you most of the time, or this is done, that is done. So please try to maintain the tone that you have developed, And even if you're writing, that can be paraphrased in a better way. Okay. So I will not talk much about the methodology, reason being that this is where your actual actions are to be written. Okay, that means what all you have applied. You can create subsections under it. So first of all, you must have gathered certain, suppose it's a ML based, machine learning based program. You must have gathered some data set. How did you gather the data set? Did you go to field survey? Did anybody give you a data set? So you have to cite that person. Or else Kaggle and all, we never cite because that's not the right thing to do. Preferably, you must have bought a data set or you must have got it from a research organization. You need to give, with the permission of that organization, you need to give that how did you gather your data. So you must have done a Google form survey. You must have done a online analysis, okay, whatsoever it is. After that, section 1, which can be a data gathering data set. Section 2 is like training your model, and then applying different methodologies, okay, then testing your model, then validating your model, etc., etc. And therefore after the methodology comes is what all. If these are the only methods, fine, but if you have tried 2-3 methods, and then you have to create more sections as to method 1, method 2, and so on. Okay, that's about methodology, and it has to be according to whatever technical solution you are providing, it will be written. Now, students also get confused between research methods and research methodology. And then the question comes in my method section or the methodology section of my research paper, which one should I use? This, left or right? Actually, both. So let's understand what is it. Behaviors and instruments used in the selection and construction of the research technique. Data set is an instrument. Behavior is some kind of an analysis based on a survey or a questionnaire or whatsoever. So behavior of your selection. Behavior means whatever samples you must have collected so as to even provide a technical solution to it. So the instrument is your method. Okay. What is the methodology? The science of understanding how research is performed. So based on the data set, you used machine learning, which is the methodology applied on the data set. So data set is your instrument. Survey is your instrument. Field visits is your instrument. Exploring is your instrument. Okay. Whereas based on an instrument, the kind of technique you applied, because those instruments have given you gap, given you lots of questions which are to be addressed, given you a problem statement, okay, has asked you to refine an existing solution, okay. Therefore, what kind of a method you are using is a methodology, whereas the instrument used to even give you a research topic is a research method. Okay, done. Both should be there in methodology. So come again from the beginning. Title of the paper, abstract of the paper, keywords, your introduction, followed by literature survey. After that, your methodology, where many subsections can be created, okay? And every subsection has to have a name, say data set, gathering data set, model selection, etc., etc. Okay. Next comes a very, very important part of your paper, okay? Not important though for a reader, but very important, yes, for a reader too, but mainly for a reviewer. Because a reviewer, once he has gone through your title, liked your abstract, read your introduction, found literature review enough and satisfied, and methodology well explained, then what he is expecting to select your paper for publication is the results and discussion. This is the last straw left for you to even getting that paper selected. For a reader, this paper, reader, if he has selected your paper for a reader, your entire paper is important. Okay. And one thing I forgot to mention you, that during literature survey, the question comes from the students, Madam, 15 papers I have to read. No, I'm not saying that. You take up one paper, title you read, yes, it goes along with your problem statement, very good. Read the abstract. Read abstract 2-3 times, okay? Understand what gist they are providing, what methodology they are providing, okay? And then come to the conclusion. Because they don't go read in between at all, come to the conclusion. See, if that is the abstract, what is the conclusion? Are they providing that is there any future scope? Then pick it up. Okay, there is a future scope. I can do that. Or else, if they are writing over there, like if they are found of this much accuracy, then it's there in your mind. If they have got 70% accuracy, that means you should at least go up to 80% accuracy. Your algorithm should have at least 80%, or else you are using a completely different method, so that doesn't matter. With using that method, you should remember that yes, if I'm citing this paper, at least I should be able to improve the accuracy. Okay. Next comes, after reading the abstract and conclusion of this paper, if you find it very very useful, that paper, okay, cite that paper, not a problem. But you have found it very useful, and you have kind of got curious, then go to the methodology section and see what methods actually they have applied. Because by citing this paper, it should not happen that you have not read the methodology and you came up with the similar methodology. Then there would be a plagiarism or a copy pasting, or the transparency, the ethics will not be maintained. So that's how. So I'm not asking you to read the full paper, abstract, conclusion, and if very very important, then you should be reading the methodology. Got it? So after the literature survey was your methodology. After methodology comes, since you have mentioned what all you did, okay, next comes, based on that, what are the results? Results can be graphs, results can be tables, results can be comparison tables of different methods, okay. So results can be flowcharts, okay. Results can be a snapshot of your algorithm, okay, not a problem, okay. Results can be images, okay. So results, discussion, conclusion are coming one after another. I am not them taking them. Sometimes results and discussion come together. Sometimes you are asked to put the results one after another with few description about the results, and the discussion part is talking about the overall results, okay. In the results section, individual, suppose you have applied 3 methods. So first method, results with little discussion, second method, result, little discussion, third method, okay, and the final discussion will be an overall summary of the 3, okay, where you can have a comparison table too, okay, and conclusion follows after discussion, okay. Results and discussion usually have figures and tables which summarizes your data. You get the main points which are described in the text. That means in the text you're writing this is improved, then you have to show through a certain confusion matrix or so that yes, accuracy is improved, okay. Then system snapshots. So these system snapshots are very important. Usually I advise you should have an architecture diagram or a block diagram, or a sequence diagram, or a schematic diagram, or a sequence flow diagram, or a DFD 0, not 0, actually a DFD 2 diagram, okay. So DFD 0, DFD 1, DFD 2, you can have a DFD 2 diagram, okay. So these are the system snapshots. It's very important. Usually I ask that diagram should be included in the methodology itself, so that when you are writing, people have an idea, okay. If you have a schematic diagram, if you can include there in the methodology, people understand, okay, what is your way of the solution. They have a pictorial understanding of what you are writing in the methodology. And then in the result and discussions, there can be images, there can be graphs, etc., etc. Graphs in forms of images. Next comes your summary or conclusion. Tell them what you have told them, okay. What you have told them, meaning right in the beginning, in the title and the abstract, you have written big statements, isn't it? And now this is your chance in conclusion to actually conclude that whatever you have written, you have actually achieved. But then what you can achieve, that can lie in a future scope, not a problem. And you can be the person who will revise your paper next time by another paper by improving your future scope. So you must have seen same authors rewriting similar problems by, because they keep on researching and they publish papers one after another as they find new results. Some people only read abstract, intro, and conclusions relate back to the general area. I have already told you that whenever you're citing the paper, usually you read the abstract, introduction, and conclusion. Okay, so that's why your conclusion, as much importance I've given to the title and abstract, similar, same level of importance I'm giving to the conclusion. Because people, even you, while literature survey, you will be reading only these sections. So they have to be that important and well written. And that conclusion should be linking results to your original hypothesis. It can introduce future work. It can discuss of limitations of study. Okay, so that people can take up from here. A good researcher keep research open so that other people who have access to more database, okay, free database, okay, open access database, they can explore this research further. Okay, they can be in ministry, they can be in government or agencies, they have better access to things, so they can explore the research with a better group of study. Okay, extension for further improvement. Always never say that it has been achieved. Okay, always leave a scope of improvement in the conclusion. Okay, so for yourself only you write, okay, this has been achieved but can be that can be improved further with so and so technology. If you are not knowing about the technology, can be say you can improve further with more data set or improve further with more further research. Okay, now in the conclusion and references, I further want to, so after conclusion comes references. In the conclusion, you need to include observations of the statistical analysis used. So usually if you can statistically give in the conclusion, no, achieve 87% accuracy, those things matters. Okay, and you should discuss on the facts that you have achieved with your results, and therefore achieved with why the results turned out the way they did. Okay, that means you must have used a very profound or a better or a new methodology because of which you are achieving something, and that you are writing in the conclusion. Okay, so that you have to highlight all these things: interpretations, inferences, implications. So remember, these three I's should be coming in your conclusion. That means, how do you interpret your result? What is the inference of your research? What are the implications? That means, because of this, so much percentage saving of farmers or government agencies towards the farmers will be done. So much business will be generated because of increase in organic pesticides. Okay, or organic farming. Okay. Next is references or citations. Okay, contains only the paper cited in your work. Okay, if you have not cited the paper in the literature survey, then you are not. And remember, usually in the methodology results and discussion, you don't give any citation. Preferably don't allow any citation there. All citations should be done in the literature review part. Okay, use the best and most up-to-date literature. Make sure the literature is relevant to your research. Don't overdo it. Okay, similar two papers, please, that makes no sense. Avoid self-glorification means I have done it once and I stopped doing it. That means putting my old paper just to improve my citation. Never do it. Okay, can they find, suppose this is your second paper and you already had a first paper in the similar domain, never cite your own paper. Okay, can they find it from your information? That means whatever you are citing. Okay, from, because when I'm citing, I am giving the complete IEEE format title of the paper. So when I copy that and paste it in the Google search engine, am I able to open the paper? Does that paper exist? Okay, preferable archival works are hard to get. Therefore, you should be using those kind of publications, okay, which is going as per. That means for your technical paper, if you are using literature dominant surveys, it doesn't work. Yes, I asked you to use survey, but survey pertaining to you understanding your research problem. So understanding diseases of paddy is not a technical thing. It's a biological thing, but it is relevant to my research. Okay. But I cannot talk about research paper writing as a citation. No, never. Understood. So most publications are strict about this legible, adequately labeled and titled references. I'm coming to each one of them quickly. So points to be considered. So about writing a paper, I have finished. Okay. Now, before publishing, you should be taking the targeted audience. Okay. So you should be taking up a journal which is reputed and it is Scopus indexed, or maybe your institution is have a journal. If they own a journal, then you can use it. We don't usually, but then we may come up with something in near future. Usually you go for open access, but then the research required for open access is too huge. So you can have a subscription based paper when you need to pay. Sometimes it can be a free paper, sometimes it will be a paid paper. Free paper is very difficult to publish because the research required for free paper is extensive in nature. So you should be going for a paid paper. Okay. Next is impact factor. If you're using a journal or a paper, specifically for a journal, you need to know what is the impact factor of the journal. Usually there are many fake journals, so you have to stay away from fake journals with a very high impact factor. Usually even good journals have an impact factor of 1 or 1.2. You should know that. So if anybody claiming 5, 7, they are frauds. Okay. Probability of acceptance. Sometimes if I have two conferences and I have to publish my paper, I look into something which is earlier in nature and have the same importance of credibility, so that I can publish sooner. Because remember, the more late you are into publishing, somebody else must be having a several similar paper already published on the submitted and published on the site. Then your paper will never be accepted. So probability of acceptance, you have to see publication time. Probability of acceptance, usually for a journal, they mention over there that is it a weekly, it's a monthly or bi-annually. If it's a monthly, that means every month they are accepting papers. So in a year, they will be accepting more papers. There are chances of a publication there. Or else if it's a bi-annually paper, that means twice in a year. But most of the reputed journals are annual papers. Okay. Next is you have to check, are you ready to submit? So you have planned well, you have set the framework for your document. That means page size, outline, headings, everything is done. All figures and all you have labeled properly, the size and shape, everything taken care of, the positioning, etc. Then you have your grotty first draft. Use the journal or the conference papers, checklists, and instructions to author. There is always in a proper journal, they have a topic called instruction to authors. Read that thoroughly, okay, and see like what all they have mentioned over there, what kind of a template, within a template, what kind of a font size, font type, how many lines spacing, how the figures have to be labeled, it be a single column, double column format, whatsoever. So see the checklist. Then once your first draft is a very shabby draft, once you have checked along, because different conference have different templates. Maybe, okay, and may not be, okay. Depending on that, you have to now go to the instruction and readjust your paper according to the template. Next, you circulate to your co-authors. If there are 4 co-authors, then you say among your co-authors, maybe you are the main author, others have done separate work, maybe abstract, maybe methodology, maybe literature review, and you have written the methodology results and discussions. Then in that case, you have to now tell them, now this is the final paper, you all read together, okay, and therefore take reviews from them, analyze and adjust if you require. Then circulate to your peers and co-authors. This I will not advise you to do. This happens in research organizations where somebody does not copy others' work. They are so ethically bound. In our college, in our scenario, it cannot happen. It may not happen. But there are good peers as well who will not copy paste your paper, and therefore you can send it to peer group for reading. Then you have the final fourth draft ready. You polish up your presentation, revisit your checklist, and then your final document is ready, and therefore you submit it. After submit, what is the publication process? After the completion of the research, preparation of manuscript, submission of manuscript, your peer review. As now, all the that means that conference people would be sending mails to different peer scientists. Okay, they would be assigning this paper to them so as to get a peer review from them. And based on that, those peers, specifically, they are very eminent researchers who would be giving a decision. Say, accept with minor revision, or accept with major revision, or reject. If it's a reject, you can do nothing. With the minor revision, then they tell you what revisions they are expecting. If it is major revision, then you are kind of stuck for a few months. Doesn't matter whatsoever they are writing. That means you must not have written your methodology well, or you have not supplied enough references, or your references may not be relevant for your paper. So there are these major revisions required sometimes. Okay, and then you resubmit it again. It goes for review, and it's a, if you have the patience, it's a iterative process. What are the ethics in writing? No plagiarism, no data alteration, no duplicate manuscripts, unnecessary citation avoid, redundant publication. Already surveys are existing. Just because you have one paragraph to add, you cannot have another publication. Okay, authors conflicts of interest. Okay, that means this is like in within your paper, in your peer group, that means, sorry, within your group who are writing the papers, they have conflict of interest. Okay, if somebody says no, I would use chat gpt, and somebody says no, I will write it on your own, immediately it is seen in the paper. Once you read it aloud, you will see the difference in writing. So a unity among your group is very much required. Next is human use concerns. That means always write something which is beyond human possibility. Don't exaggerate, go out of the way of giving some, kind of an experience which can't even fathom, can't even understand, can't even visualize or imagine. Okay. Okay, what are the templates in writing? I will come to these templates. Let me just go ahead. So let students, there are journal templates, there's a sample template, there's an IEEE template. I would advise you to use Overleaf. It is a very useful way. You need to try it. Everything in this particular session I cannot explain, but Overleaf, using Overleaf makes your journal writing very easy. I could have used LaTeX, but LaTeX is usually for thesis writing for your PhDs or MTech, or even for BTechs. Okay, right now at second year level, I wouldn't introduce over LaTeX to you. Okay. This is quality assurance of research papers. This is from my earlier presentation, like last year. So I have included this as an image. And since this links does not work any further, I have kept fresh links over here. So if you click on these links, you would see what are the research. I mean, where do I publish? Okay, you mentioned how to write a paper. You asked us not to be very ethical about our paper. You made us understand what is the publication process. Now, can you tell me where to publish? Yes, there comes. Either it can be coming as a mail to your mentors, and they can forward it to you. If you are already a part of a research community, even mails are sent to you. Or else, if you want to go out of the way and search for your research domain papers. Okay, so there is this UGC care list, there is this Scopus journal list, there is this Web of Science list, and there are these Sci-Index journals list. So as I have said, UGC Cares, Scopus, Web of Science, and Sci-Index journals. Okay, so these are the, if you can get lots of journal list over here. Preferably at the second year stage, you should take help from the mentor as to, suppose your paper gets selected in BuzzPro, you should publish it, okay? And then take help of, so this are student paper, BuzzPros are student paper, so there is no mentor assigned to it, but you can very well show this paper either to me or Lifna ma'am or Richard, or even to your field project mentor as a mentor of overall mentor, as to this is a paper. If you are knowing about any research conference in my paper domain, kindly forward it to me. Okay, and preferably at this level go for IEEE conferences. That's it. Okay, because a journal will give you, journal writing requires lots of experience and lots of research. This is very important. Okay, I'll be coming back to my earlier links once I'm done with this. Now everybody, since you are learning AI, whether it is third year or second year, since you are learning AI, the immediate thing comes in your mind is, when a human clone is available, why should I do it? Let AI do it. I'll give the title to ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity. They will do it for us. Why should I do it? So that is it. Yes, use AI. They have been made for human usage, okay? But use it with caution. Understand what you should use, and even after using, that is giving you kind of a paragraph as to what should come, and taking help of that paragraph, start writing on your own. Okay, that's my request. Okay, now these are few things. I'll come to the last link, which is Niti Aayog. If you go to the Niti Aayog site, okay, Niti Aayog is talking about responsible AI. If I am not wrong, in your first module, you have this called responsible AI. And responsible AI, Government of India is giving you so many policies, and they are giving all the laws, legal, bylaws as to all the legal considerations, regulatory bodies, principles of responsible management of AI systems. Can you see that? That means just because AI is doing it, we are not going to blindly use it. That is the crux of my story. Okay. Next comes, so Niti Aayog, this is the 7 pillars of Niti Aayog, out of which, if you can see, transparency. So this transparency should be followed by you. Next is Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft 365 Copilot is an excellent way to help you in finding few things, few keywords, few, suppose ChatGPT can be very well used, that if this is my abstract, okay, or this is my title, suggest what are the keywords. So few keywords can be given by ChatGPT. Rest of the keywords, as you have done in your methodology, you know what methods you have used. You are not adding everything in your abstract, right? So you can highlight. Suppose I have used CNN. Suppose I have used RNN, GNN. If I have made a comparison of them, so in my keywords, all these words will come. They are all neural network methods. Okay. Next is notebooklm.google. Okay. Notebooklm is, can you see, the ultimate tool for understanding the information that matters most for you. It is it is your personalized AI research assistant. Can you get that? And use it, students. It's a wonderful. If you try using it, what not you can get, but not the methodology. Not the methodology. Remember, that's why I said you, nothing is stopping you from using it. Use it wisely. Methodology, always remember, it's your own. It's your own. You can paraphrase few words. You can search different ways people have explored research. Okay, so this is a very useful tool. Student, I am still connected. Are you all listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is Jenny. Jenny is Meet Your Intelligent Research Assistant, the AI-powered workspace to help you read, write, and organize research with ease. oh my God, if I, there is a little price to pay, but then I don't know. I did not try it, but I have seen a priced version of it where my colleague have used it. You can't even imagine. It's almost a clone of a human AI research, human researcher. It is, but then it suffered somewhere. Where methodology? It will not be giving you existing graphs. So yeah, it can give you an algorithm. Fine, okay, that's fine. You can run the algorithm. You will get graphs and tables. Fine, but then remember, many people are using Jenny for similar reasons, and they will also have the. So once you try writing the paper during peer review, you will be thoroughly stuck because of similarity. Okay, that will be existing. Okay, fine. So I have done it. Now let me go back to my previous slide. So let me open this for you. UGC Care. When UGC Care is it opening? Let me just skip to something else. Okay. Can you see the students? I think my entire screen is shared. This is seen to you. Walk through research. Kindly hurry up. Answer. Are you able to see my new Google Doc?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Please pay attention here. Okay. So I am walking you through how usually we do on a pen paper method, but then I'm showing you. Suppose I want to research because I have some data set with me, or maybe I have visited a few places where I have found this happening, and that's why it has been ringing in my head that I should be researching about it. I can try new methodologies because existing methodologies are not providing a solution. Or else, suppose I want to come up with a survey paper where how pollution is affecting human health and related issues. So how do I write? Because it has come in my mind because of newspaper, reading newspaper, social media, or Twitter tweets or whatsoever. The effects of pollution. So first of all, I write this. Okay. I'm not happy about it because my title of my research paper should not be like this. So I make it little more evident. I write like this: air and what pollution. People should specify, what pollution. Air and water pollution. Critical healthcare hazards and disease burden analysis. Isn't it sounding better? I'm still not happy. Then I go to this, okay? Because hazard meaning, okay? Am I mentioning the community over here? Hazards to whom? To birds and animals or to human? We don't know. So this is the devastating impact of air, water, and soil pollution on global public health and healthcare system. Can you understand that? There I am making my research more focused. Okay. I'm still not happy. Then I go ahead and therefore I finalize this as my topic. Leveraging AI, because what is the problem with this? Okay, just a minute. What was the problem? Okay, I included community in my earlier case, okay, but then I did not mention any method because I am writing a technical paper or technical survey. So the devastating impact of AI and IoT in monitoring air, water, and soil pollution in global public health and healthcare system. I am kind of not happy with this. I better it out by combining all that I've done so far, and I write it like this: leveraging AI and IoT to combat the devastating impact of air, water, and soil pollution on global public health, healthcare system, and communities. That is called a well defined, catchy title. Am I done? Am I clear to you? Yes? Students reply so that we are free further.
Yes, ma'am.
Faster. Next comes the abstract. So on the same problem statement, I have written an abstract. Okay. And in this abstract, first of all, a common thing, just read all of you, please. I'm not reading it. First of all, a common thing. Then I am criticizing what they have not done. That means I have an identified gap. And then I'm saying what I am doing or what we are doing in this research. And then we are saying using this research, how much will be the improvement? Though I have not included, some statistics should come here. Say I got a 30% improvement, and therefore I'm making a final statement as to that AI and IoT are making this easier, this efficient, etc., etc. And therefore, after this, it should come in this paper. Usually, I mean, it's this way I write. After this, even after writing the last common thing, that is this, I am extending this to a last line where I'm writing in this paper and overall accuracy or overall improvement of so much has taken place. Kind of, either you include statistics within this paragraph or you write in the end. Okay. Next comes your introduction. First of all, I will tell you a okay introduction, where I'm first of all writing about what is pollution, how pollution is affecting, what all types of pollution are there, etc. What are the traditional method, and then I will be talking about what emerges. Can you understand? I'm not talking about my method at all. Neither I, we, first person is not there. Everything is in third person. Okay. Rather, we are talking about what are the existing. That means previously people have worked on these technologies. Okay. So I'm using all technology, all IoT sensors I'll be mentioning, which are available in the market. And I end my introduction. I'm not happy about it. Why? Then I am giving you a better introduction. Why? I not only talk about what are the types of pollution, within the pollutants, I mention what are the pollutants. Not everything about water, not everything about air is a pollutant. So I mention over there what are the pollutants, okay? And you can extend it saying each of the pollutant are affecting which kind of a health hazard, okay? Then I am little making this paragraph of technology little better as to name of smart sensors, name of computer vision services, name of machine learning algorithms, everything, name of cloud computing platforms, everything is mentioned, okay? So that we then understand that we have surveyed everything, and that means my solution is beyond all these things, or else my solution is incorporating all these things and giving me an app may not be existing, or else I have come up with a better machine learning algorithm. And then at the end, I am saying by leveraging these techniques, how healthcare, policymakers, government agencies, all stakeholders, how they are managing pollution to some level, but they are not able to provide accuracy beyond, say, 70%. So you ended up with a curiosity. What? That they whatever they are doing, but then nobody could achieve more than 70. That means your target is to get at least better than at least 71%. Okay. After the introduction comes literature survey. See students, since I am not doing this literature, I can't bring up papers over here. Okay. So I am now I'm telling you because of my first title, how I have searched for literature review. That means I must have copied this number one point, impact of pollution on public health and healthcare system. Absolutely non-technical. You understood? I told you first 5 papers will be in these kind of domains. You type this, you write it, you go search it, you get 4 or 5 papers, open paper, see whether it's a journal, whether it is a Springer journal, whether it is a IEEE transaction, or it is a good conference paper, recent conference paper. And if it's a well cited paper, nothing like that, it's very good in that case. Okay. And then take up 2 3 papers from there, again search with a new statement. Okay. And then from that, how you're going to write. Okay. Whatsoever they have used in that particular paper, whatever they have used, etc., etc., with which I have completely forgot. You have to suppose over here WHO 2021, I write within square bracket 1. So I have to include my citation over here. Can you see here? I have included my citation. So the first cited paper, that from there I have got this. It can come in the middle of the sentence, but it should come intelligently. That means after volatile organic compounds, I can put a one. Not you cannot have been after this. Okay, after here. So choose your position intelligently. Next, what is my next search? Now, though that was non-technical, now I'll search for technical papers like AI technologies in pollution monitoring and prediction. I will search and again find what all technologies are used. So different methods. I criticize some methods. I accept some methods. As I'm accepted, I cannot have a clone of this method. I have to better off that method. Okay. Next is number 3, IoT enabled pollution monitoring. Since I have AI and IoT, I tried with AI, now I'll try with IoT. Same here. Then number 4 is AI and IoT integration. So people must have integrated, okay? And if they are not, yours is a winner, okay? And if they have, what they have increased, suppose they have integrated AI SVM, support vector machine, with a IoT, this pollution sensor, okay? And suppose now you are also introducing a thermal sensor to it, okay? So that makes a sense, maybe because you're a little different, and since you're using a different machine learning model. Number 5 is gaps in existing. So you write like this: gap in existing research and future directions. First of all, write gaps in existing research and paste your research title, or else write like this: future directions, paste your research title. You will get so many avenues in this. And there, if you are not aware that what I'm supposed to write about, how I'm supposed to have my methodology, here you will give this methodology. And the last 5 cited papers would be talking about these gaps, what is not done, okay, for which many a times you may not get papers, you may get newspaper news, blogs, news articles, okay, like that. Never include social media, Facebook tweets. No, those are not acceptable in papers. Ebooks, okay, ebooks are available. That's it. After you are done with the literature survey, you should be continuing this, saying that what you are planning to do in 1 or 2 lines, okay, followed by the organization of the paper. As I said, in section 1, methodology, section 2, this one line description of each section. That's it. That means the organization of your paper. This is the UGC care list, which was not opening. Here I need to log in. After I log in, so I must have forgotten my password. I can't help it now. But what I'm saying is, once you log in, there would be this, what you call, a page opening, where you can search by ISSN, you can search by title of your paper, whether it comes in the UGC care list, or else you can just simply click on search UGC care list, and it will be giving you the list of papers. I don't know why it is not happening over here. But you log in and search by ISSN numbers or so, it happens, okay? Maybe I'll check the link again later before sending you. Next is scopus.com. In scopus.com, again, I will not be opening every links. Usually for your case, it's best that, it is best that you go through your this mentor, let the mentor. So if you can see, you can search by your subject area, You can search by your ISSN number. Can you see all the list of journals are there, okay, with their impact factor, your citation index. You can search by subject area, by title, by publisher, by SSN, okay. So this is one way. I'm leaving this slide right now. You can explore the links. Next is overleaf. Can you see IEEE conference template? So it opens. So this is how a conference paper title. So see the template over here, how the template opens. Okay, it's very easy to write in overleaf. Okay, now just a minute. Yeah, one template is already open over here. This is the IEEE template. I'll walk you through the IEEE template. They give you everything. What should be the font size and type? Usually it is Times New Roman. So this is where you have to format Painter and use the title format. Then first author, second author. Then this is your abstract. They also mention what is the length of the abstract. Sometimes they say 100 words or whatsoever. It should not be. It's a very quick, very simple summary. Each line, I mention it to you how it should go about. Next comes your introduction. So here, if you can see, introduction is ending here. After introduction comes your literature review. So this is your review will be coming here. After review will be your methodology. They have not gone by the way I have explained, but then, but how to write the paper, what should be the pixel size, everything is there. For even figures, they mention what would be the size of the figure, okay, and then how do you name the figure. Figure is always written below the figure with the type, with the caption of the figure, or the description of the figure should exactly explain what is the figure about, okay. Next, next the table. If you see the table size, table heading usually comes on the top, okay. It comes below. Figure comes below, table on the top, and this is how the table has to be written. There can be a comparison table. There can be a table for abbreviations or no. Usually we don't require abbreviations. Another thing that is, if you're using math or equations, then it should be Microsoft Equation Editor or a math type. You have to take this add-on, and you have to. So you cannot snip an equation and put it in the paper. You have to use a equation editor tool, okay. The images should be in a TIFF format or a JPG format. You need to read this, student. Nobody can read it for you. The units, if you are taking, it's usually in the SI, MKS or the CGS units, okay. And figures and tables, they have a complete section telling you how the figures and tables sizing. You are not, there can be a figure which will be not enough in a column format. That means it will be the inner blocks will be so less visible. Then you can use the figure in a double column format, not a problem, so that everything about it is visible. So only the figure can go double column, the description can continue single column. Sorry, the figure can go single column, whereas the description can go double column. After this, if you can see how the equation number should come. If you have written an equation with a number, then with that equation number, you are supposed to write that what that equation is describing. So without giving an equation and not writing about it is not a good task that you are doing. These are the citations which will come in brackets. If you can see the number, citation number 1, 2, 3, 4 should come in the brackets. About some suffixes, prefixes they mentioned. Never use acronym. So if you are using like ADBC, that's fine. If you're using AI, if it is still fine. But if I am using CVD, then nobody understands CVD unless you say cardiovascular disease. Once only you have to describe cardiovascular disease in bracket CVD. Later on in your paper, use CVD, not a problem. This is if I need to use increase the font size here. This is the If you can see, this is a right way of citing your paper. So first you write the author name. First you write the author name, comma, followed by a double quotes. Then either this paper, title of the paper, comma, ends here, then double quote. Please remember all this. Comma, ends here, then double quote, followed by in, then where. That means it has come up in a transaction. So they are writing conference recording. So you are supposed to write volume, page number also. Okay. Since in this paper there are mostly this transactions, it will look at this. Look at this 12 RW Lucky Automatic Equalization for Digital Communication, Bell System Technology Journal, volume 44, number 4, page number this. Year is very, very important. How will a person know, a researcher, a reviewer or a reader know that which year it belongs to? Okay. And I said recent 3 years is the key. Okay. And sometimes there are too many authors. So usually we take all the author names. If not possible, so if you can see, they have taken 2 author names here. If not possible, if there are 5-6 authors, then you take the first author. After that, you write down et al. ETAL, et al. Et al is to come. Okay. Can you see they have used books over here? Okay. Again, book. They have a journal, online journal. Okay. Maybe not a published journal, online journal. This is again a IEEE transaction. So books. So usually blogs, we don't prefer newspaper article, but then for the Bus Pro second year level, you can go ahead with blogs and news articles. Okay. I think that's all for me. Anything from your side? Do you want me to explain anything else? All okay? All okay? Okay, Vidya. So I am leaving the meeting. Students, you can leave the meeting.